Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a Lego set. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. If you feel like being a lurker, this is my permission to you. You can just lurk. You don't have to say anything at all. If you just want to hang out, that's also a thing you can do. Don't worry about it. But it is, of course, Monday. Ghost Valve's here. Hello, Ghost Valve. And we are starting off the Lego City 4x4 Off-Roader Adventures set. It's a set because not only does it include the off-roader, it also includes some little dirt bike or bikes. I don't think they're dirt bikes. They're bikes and like a little tent and a little campfire. So we got a couple things going there. It's a whole set. Hey, Lord Crashington, welcome. And that kind of explains why it's the Lego City, because this is, this ain't no city off-roader. You don't go off-road. If you go off-roading in the city, that means you're driving on the sidewalk. Haha. We got two minifigs and a little camping area. That's bag 1 and instruction booklet 1. And then instruction booklet 2 is the which is bag 2 and 3, hard to see there, is the actual off-roader with quote-unquote working suspension. Must be nice. I like when City did a bunch of swamp people criminals. Yes. Deathstrike. One thing I liked about the City set is last year or this year, when it was the anniversary of the space sets, so every line did space, and it's like Lego City spaceship. Okay, sure, all space, yeah. Everybody did space, and it was like Lego Dreams, sure, no problem at all. But it was like Lego City space, okay. Yes, Duplo did space. It was neat. And those sets actually, honestly, the small one is cool. The larger spaceship, the larger Lego City spaceship is really fucking great. It's really solid. Hey, Vash, welcome. Happy to have you here. Let's go to the overhead, and we're going to start things off. Before we really dive too deep into it, should have said this up top, but we got a minifig to put together. But also, hey, it's September, and currently, from now until October 1st, if you are a new subscriber, you save 25% off new subs. And if you want to buy like a bunch of months, you save more, but whatever. And then there's extra bonus bits. So if you cheer some bits over 300 bits, Twitch will kick in extra on their end. As a reminder, for both that and for subscribing, not just for me, but for anybody, don't do it through the app. Hey, Lashbrook, from this point going forward, if you can sign up to something via a website, you should do that. Or at the very least, you should make sure that Apple or Google isn't overcharging you. Android, I guess I should specify, isn't going to overcharge you. Make sure that the companies are eating those fees and they're not passing the fees on to you. That is just a thing we all have to do going forward, which is a shame because iOS makes it very convenient in a lot of ways, especially renewals and all that. But that's what we got to do. We got to do that stuff. Anyway, let's get this one minifig together. She does have the option to have either a hat that does have hair on the back of it, so we can have her have that, and she's got a camera. And this is fun. This is a fun bit of business. But alternatively, we can mix things up. Vash went to DPW last night and got to see Shoko. That's awesome. Deadlock Pro Wrestling, they've been called Deadlock for years. It predates the Steam game or the Valve game. Deadlock, the podcast, they have a wrestling promotion called DPW. And yeah, Shoko Nakajima performed there. And Yeah, there was an appearance by FTR. They're going to be at the North Carolina show, so they made an appearance for this one. FTR are in their doing indies phase again. They do that every couple of years now, it seems like, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's awesome. I have not seen Shoko wrestle. I would like to. Uh, I've seen Miyu wrestle, and that's the only that is the only Tej wrestler that I've ever seen wrestle live. Is I've seen Miyu, Miyu Yamashita, whooped so much ass. She kicked some heads. It was great. I like this setup here with the camera and the hat, but we're going to take that off. We're going to say no because we're going to put we got to put a helmet on because we're going to put this lady on a bike. So we got to put the helmet on, and then we got to build a bike over here. Gots to build a bike. We need white wheels, and we need some black rubber on there to build our bike, and then we can put our minifig on the bike. Let's see. What we want to say? Oh, I watched not live like Vash did. I watched on the computer. I watched the GCW event yesterday, which was fine. I think something weird happened where the four-way fight with there was a four-way women's match that I was kind of more interested in other things because it was like some very good wrestlers. They went very early on the card, and I had to wonder if one of them had another engagement or something because it was like kind of surprising how early in the show that match was. And it was good, but it was also under 10 minutes, and that felt weird. I don't know. It was strange. Joey Janela versus Danhausen was pretty good. I'll say that. That was the semi-main event. Violent J showed up. Violent J has performed for GCW before as a wrestler, but one of his boys from JCW was performing, and he showed up to help him out. And I was like, that was kind of fun. And he was unannounced, and I'll definitely specify that. He was unannounced to being there, which is a cool surprise. If you're going to go see a Sunday early evening wrestling show, and then Violent J shows up, that's pretty cool. So yeah, so that was neat. All right, so we got our lady on her bike here. Going to do some stunts later. She's stunting. She's ready to stunt. And then... we'll move on to the other thing, which is our second minifig. We'll get our second minifig together. I have some news stories prepared for us to chat about. We got Yuka back on Collision. Yes, Yuka Sakazaki is back. She has been out with an injury that she suffered in a match with Emi Sakura. Emi works incredibly safe, so I do not blame that. It just fucking happened. It was a bummer, and it just happened. But Emi works incredibly safe and is a trainer as well as and a promoter as well as a wrestler. But yeah, so she got injured, but our girl Yuka is back and wrestling on Wednesday. Yuka Sakazaki lined up to be the first major contender against Mariah May, which is neat and not something I would have expected. All right, so our dirt bike guy has a backpack. It's important. And he can have a ball cap. And then, of course, more importantly, he can have a backwards baseball cap. But instead, because he's going to go on a bike, he's got a helmet. Safety first. I'm not going to put a ball cap on our boy here and then have him jump on a bike. This is not going to happen. And we build this bike the same way we built the last one. So, as mentioned, I do have some news stories to chat with you all about. We will start with a bit of a sad one. There is a chance you've never heard of this website and you may not have known, or you do remember it from the mid-2010s and didn't realize that it still existed. But this is the last full week of Touch Arcade at toucharcade.com. They are shutting the site down. It is, at this point, it has been one person's full-time job and a couple freelancers. I don't remember how big it got, but at one point it was pretty big. Touch Arcade, hit a very important demographic that was not being served, which was people that wanted to talk about mobile games or get recommendations for mobile games. And you think of like, oh, because like, look, every once in a while there'd be a game that would hit everyone, that would hit a popular conversation and be covered on the major websites. But a thing that the major websites found out as they started to try to engage with mobile, because mobile games were so popular, was that console fans and PC gamers didn't want to read about a phone game. They felt very strongly about that. That was the consistent feedback, was we don't want to hear about this shit. So a lot of the bigger sites only talked about sparingly. And this was podcasts too. They would get that feedback on podcasts. It wasn't like, oh, well, they're fucking up by not covering this. It was, well, the audience, the loudest part of the audience does not want to hear about these games. And so you would, every once in a while, you would like they would throw in a conversation about something. They'd be like, well, we can talk about this game for iPad that's really interesting. Lord Crashton says, seems like a sort of site that lasted as long as it needed at this point. So I should say, how does a site like that exist, right? Because they're probably not getting ad revenue on banners that much in the teens, the 2010s. They're probably not. How did they survive for so long? And the answer to that is affiliate links. They would get money and obviously they were doing journalism. They were reporting on new things, reviewing games. That they were doing the work, but there would be affiliate links to the games. And so if you read a review or a news article and it's stirred your interest, you could go and buy the game, and they would make some amount of money. That went away, and their major revenue went away with it. A thing that should be mentioned about Touch Arcade is that they pivoted to also talking about Switch titles, was their like last lease on life. Because, hey, guess what? Like, if there had been handhelds, they could talk about that. They could have gone into Steam Deck stuff if had been interested. But they decided they were going to go into talking about Switch titles, which I think is a natural extension. Another thing about Touch Arcade that's very interesting to me in the 16 years of its website was they were not the first pivot to Patreon, but they were an early example of pivoting to Patreon, like a whole site going subscriber focused and adding other content, which now doesn't feel weird, but at the time it did. When the Kind of Funny folks left IGN and started a company that was primarily focused on Patreon and Twitch subs, it was seen as like, oh, well, good fucking luck. Well, how many of them are going to move into game dev? It's like, that was not a thing that people necessarily thought about. But Touch Arcade, which again was a small group, was able to pivot to Patreon and have that work out for them for about as long as it could, right? It probably did overstay its welcome, but it did for many years serve a very underserved market. Because like I said, if you are interested in those things, maybe somebody's talking about it on YouTube, but probably not. And then you find, oh, there's this website that covers like all these cool games and apps that I'm interested in. And they also had a thing with their Patreon where you could make requests of things you'd like to see get coverage. If you were like, I want to know more about this game and I haven't seen anything except somebody was screen capturing footage on YouTube with no commentary, and I don't know anything about this, could you check it out for us? That kind of thing. They really engaged with their audience. And like I said, they made it work for as long as they could. It's not a surprise, but it is a bit of a shame. I did not use Touch Arcade much myself because I don't play a lot of mobile games and I generally go by word of mouth. But I did definitely use it for reference. And also, sometimes, you know this, there is a strong possibility that you, the person watching this video, either live or later on a video on Twitch or on YouTube, you are the person that people asks for recommendations for themselves or for family. Like, hey, my kid loves games. What do I buy for their birthday? And you go, okay, well, what do they like? I do this, or they play this, that. Sometimes they'll be like, well, he's got an iPad. And you're like, okay, shit. And I as I said, I found myself sometimes being like, well, here are the couple games I know are great. And you have Netflix, so you have these access to these kind of games if you want to do that, depending on how old they are, because you have Netflix. And they'll be like, what's hot on Touch Arcade? I use that website for recommendations when it was something that I'm like, I don't know a lot of this stuff. Like, this is like it, because it was a blind spot for me. And I'll say it was very helpful. Reaching an audience these days that wants to read some thoughtful commentary on mobile games seems very hard compared to how these stores are set up to recommend and highlight stuff. Yes, Lord Crashington. But like I said, it would be incredibly difficult for someone to start new. But they did exist for 16 years, and many of those years were user-driven, like user-supported. They did exist. Of course, smaller than their heyday, but they did make it work for many years because they built a loyal audience of people who were psyched to have that be presented to them. Finding the people that are giving you the niche that you want can be very challenging. And I will say that, folks, if you have if you are part of a small community of something that you're like, I don't know if anyone else is doing coverage like this, like, cherish it, because the fact that you found it is remarkable and difficult. It's difficult, right? Like to find those things and to have people take the risk and be able to try to support themselves by doing those things. It can be very difficult. All right, our first two stickers. Did I put this together wrong? No, our first two stickers go like this. Okay, and then they go on here. Our first two stickers are sleeping bags. We're gonna put stickers on here for these sleeping bags. That's very silly to me, but look, there's a lot of conversations to be had about Lego. The fact that we have a pink and blue, and our minifig has a little bit of pink and a little bit of blue, is gender normative in a way that is unnecessary. We do not need to be doing that in our Lego sets. We do not need to have color-coded sleeping bags that match their outfits and happen to also involve pink and blue. Like, come on, what are we doing here? I'm not looking for things to be mad at, but I'm going to mention it if I find something that I'm like, what are we talking about? And then also, apparently, their sleeping bags face head to head. That's how we're doing this right now. She does. The lady does need a poop brown sleeping bag, apparently, with pink highlights. And the set wants me to do this like this. So they're head to head. Instead of feet to feet. Come on, what are we talking about here? You at least go feet to feet. It's like some rare cooked meat. I mean, it's just like, come on. Look, they could have done two tents. So I guess I'm grateful they didn't do a boys' tent and girls' tent. But come on, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? All right, so, I need 4 of these. I only have 3. Did one roll underneath? Did I drop one? No, Lord Crashton. Generally, Lego sets don't have lore like that. Some do, but most don't. Okay, I am missing one of these. I did drop a Lego on my floor, and I thought I had only dropped one piece, and I might have dropped 2. So let me. This is frustrating. So again, Lego didn't lose a piece. I dropped a piece somewhere because to build this tent, I got to do this and then put it together, and then there's a little more. So I need one of these, which I do not have anywhere. I'm going to just move this here. Nope, it's not anywhere. It's not anywhere easily found here. So that's frustrating. Huh. I could use the shovel, I guess. Could just do that just as a way to kind of make this work. I wonder if I could do that. No, that's not long enough. Damn. Shovel's not long enough. Huh. Okay. Well, that's just great. Again, this is on me. I did drop a Lego piece, and I thought that I had picked up. I thought I'd only dropped one, but apparently I had dropped two. So let's put these together like this. Do 3 out of the 4, and then I guess I'll go look for it really quick. This is why I don't recommend opening a bag until you're ready to sort. I had opened the bag to prep, and then when I moved the bag, a piece fell out, and apparently 2 pieces fell out because I don't have the other piece that I need. I guess this could theoretically kind of work like this. Like I can kind of do that, but it's not right because it's the shovel. I guess I'll do that until I find it. I will find it, and so our tent will look right. Our tent will look right later. Right now it's going to look wrong because I am using the shovel as a temporary piece. So, yeah, because it's going to have to go like that. So then I'm going to dig this out like this. So yeah, this is my temporary fix until I find the piece, or I go through my box of stuff that's ready to be donated and try to find another piece that way. Could do as well. Okay, so I kind of pull this out. I'll just do it like this. Then go like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's not stable. But it does work for now. Again, this is a temporary solution until I figure out the permanent solution, which is finding the piece that I dropped or didn't get an extra for this one. Yeah, so this is not good. Ooh, okay, maybe. So Lord Crashington, this is supposed to be a tarp. So this would be one piece that would go over it. Of course, that's very difficult to do Lego style. So they did this. Oh, what if I did this here? Can I do... Is this going to be long enough if I do that? Okay, if I do that, I can do... Yeah, all right. So this is our solution. Is this a good solution? No. Is this the solution we're doing? Yes. There we go. There's the tent. Tent's done. This is supposed to be like a tarp, but this is their Lego version of a tarp. Okay, so there's our solution. I just put the piece in the middle. It's not as sturdy as it could be, but it is fixed. And then we've got some little setting here, again, because this is the setting that we're using. And then I got to we got to start a fire as well. And here's the fire. Got a little fireplace and all that. And now we're building a desert, like a little desert scape. Because remember, as I said, the title of this is 4x4 off-roading adventure set. So we've got our dirt bikes, or our bikes, and we've got our tent with our sleeping bags and our little fire, and then we're going to build a little bit of a like diorama in a way. Okay, so we talked about that. This is something that I don't pay attention a lot to a lot of Switch games, so my apologies that I was not aware of this, but Splatoon 3 is ending its updates, its big updates. They will still do like the Splatoon Week, like the holiday. They'll do some holiday events still that they don't have to really do much for, but the major updates, major events are coming to a close on Splatoon 3. Now, this means one of two things is happening. One, they're gearing up for Splatoon 4. Or two, this is the last we'll ever hear of Splatoon. And I'm not kidding about that because it's fucking Nintendo. You never really know with Nintendo. Regular updates will come into a close. No longer any Splatoon Splatfest themes. No more content. But there'll be still like the returning themes. And they did say that they will still be balancing weapons. So they're not abandoning it. They're just not going to be adding any new content to it, which I think like makes sense. It's been a couple of years. You know, I'm sure there are people that are still active within the community that are bummed about this. But at a certain point, right, they're going to make Splatoon 4, one would assume. Again, who knows for sure, but one would assume they at some point will do that. So this is not big news. I was saying it mostly because I was unaware that they'd continue to do stuff. Although I did see people talking about Splatoon this past weekend. And I was like, oh, okay. It's been 2 years since launch. Yes. Now Nintendo could support it more, but most likely they won't because Nintendo is in an interesting position where their games sell, they have a long life, right? But they are going to have a new system coming out next year. And they're probably, and while Splatoon 3 will most likely play on that, they're probably going to do a Splatoon 4 because it's been a couple of years and people really like it. And what Nintendo definitely wants is people to move on to the new game. So you end constant updates to the previous game and you don't keep putting out new content to a 2-year-old game instead, but you don't take it offline or anything like that. But you just kind of say, okay, now it's in maintenance mode with patches here and there to fix things, but new stuff is coming to the new game, probably. That's probably what Nintendo is doing. And I understand it. At a certain point, like, yeah, the people that you are paying to do new content for it, you can have work on the new game. That is probably what's happening here. So here's an interesting thing. Depending on who you talk to, depending on who you chat with, Diablo 4 wasn't successful. That's depending on who you talk to. That, oh, well, it came out 2023. It didn't take over the world. Now, when people talk about that, they are comparing Diablo 4 to other Diablo games. And which, yes, Diablo 4 did not do as well as Diablo 2. But we live in a very different gaming world than, you know, and so I don't think that's particularly fair or constructive. I don't think that's particularly constructive to be like, oh, well, it's not doing as well as one of the biggest games of its generation, so it's dead. And a lot of people were saying, like, hey, like this game, you know, like even, you know, the expansion looks kind of cool, but even playing in a Game Pass, like all of this, all of the skins cost too much money. The cosmetics cost too much money. There's too much of it and it costs too much money. That is what a lot of people have been saying. And I don't disagree with them. But I am telling you this because according to a now deleted LinkedIn post from senior product manager Harrison Forsick from Blizzard, the game is made. Diablo 4 has made revenue, not profit, revenue, $1 billion. And $150 million, not $150, $150 million of that revenue, again, not profit, revenue, but $150 million in revenue came from cosmetics and bundles. And thanks to Kotaku for doing the math for me, that's 15% of the money. 15% of their revenue came from cosmetics. And that's a lot of fucking money. We don't know how much Blizzard spent to make the game, so we can't talk about it being super successful or not. There's no statement from Blizzard about this. This was somebody on LinkedIn posting something and then realizing other people might care about that more than just the circle of people he is trying to impress or engage with or whatever. Um, um, and a thing that is reminded, I forgot about this. It's mentioned in the article that there was a time where if you wanted to buy a particular horse mount in World of Warcraft, there was a sparkly horse mount that you could buy. And Blizzard let us know that they didn't let us know. This was reported from sources within Blizzard that horse mount, just that horse mount, made more money than StarCraft 2. That Blizzard made more money on a horse mount than all of StarCraft 2 sales. So it's not surprising. When I saw that figure, I was like, yeah, that checks out. People complain about it being expensive. Probably people didn't buy all those skins. They didn't do all the microtransactions. But if Diablo 4 has become your main game and the game you play a lot, I can totally understand why people would put money into it like that. $150 million revenue. And think about that. That's cosmetics. Cosmetics product cost is certainly not as high as other elements of game development, right? It costs money. It costs money and time, right? So I don't know how much all of those cosmetics cost to eat into that $150 million revenue, but like it can't be that big comparatively. Lorcrash says, I wish I liked Diablo 4 that much. See, I'm excited about the expansion. I will play the expansion when it comes out. But I am not the biggest Diablo 4 guy. I'm more of a Diablo 3 person. I really liked Diablo 3. Diablo 3 is probably my favorite Diablo. I mean, Diablo 2 is incredible, and Diablo 1 was hard in a way that I never really caught on with. But goddamn, Diablo 3 really, it was a sweet spot for me of like the game, the people I like hung out with that all loved it. Like the amount of time I had when it came out, it ran incredible on my computer at the time, and yeah, it was just like Diablo 3 like ticked all the boxes. Really, really was just something that I spent a whole lot of time with. I can't say that about Diablo 4, but I like Diablo 4. All right, more video game news stuff. We do have unfortunately, we do have a Monday reporting on some layoffs. A VR game dev out of the United Kingdom had a round of layoffs. This is the, VR studio N Dreams, lowercase n, capital D Dreams. About 17% of their workforce has been laid off. This is not necessarily super surprising considering the state of VR game dev, but still, nobody likes that. This is the thing that kind of bums me out is this is like less than a year since they got purchased. They were purchased by a conglomerate, Eowyn. They're Swedish, and I did not say Eowyn right, so my apologies. But they were purchased for $110 million. So some people who certainly did not get laid off here did very well for themselves with that buyout. But that unfortunately does not mean job security, which is a shame. The company chalked it up to they're going to do a renewed strategic focus and challenging VR games market. They have 4 studios in Dreams, and they've worked on they've worked on Far Cry VR, Fract, Phantom Covert Ops, Synapse, and they have about 250 employees. And obviously they have less than that now, about 17% less. And I will say this. I did say that some of the people that did very well because of the buyout, were unaffected by this. I do want to revise that slightly. I don't know for sure, obviously, but it was stated by the CEO that folks in leadership roles were also laid off, senior leadership roles. And that's kind of surprising for this. That could just be they reduced a division down or combined some people, but that's somewhat surprising to even have that. All right, we are just about done here with our fun landscape. Gonna put that in there. We do have a jackrabbit to put on there, and we do have a scorpion. Oh no, put the scorpion over here. A Lego scorpion. That's a fun addition. Happy to have this Lego scorpion. Okay, so yeah, I got some extra pieces here. Just a couple extras. I'll put those aside so they don't get mixed in. I do have to eventually find the piece that I'm missing over here. I think I made it work, but do want to find it. And that's bag 1. So our adventuring set is gotten made here. Got some various things. We got some dirt bikers, or some bikers at least. BMXers. Some motocross kids. This one does not like to stay on the bike. The other one does, though. Oh, there we go. Okay, we did that, and yeah, and then we got this little desert set. It's an adventure, and now we gotta move over here, and we got a knoll. Oh, we got to knoll. We got to open up bag 2, and then put bag 2 in a bunch of places here. So we'll just kind of move all this off. You'll see some of it on the corners here. But I'm just going to move some things so that I can get a little room to build over here. Let's see. Yeah. So, yeah, that was some layoffs. I like to be able to talk about some positive stuff, but, it's tough. There are some things that are just not going to be in there. Pocket Pear is out here saying, hey, we thought about it. We definitely thought about it internally. We have no plans to make Pal World free to play. We are not going to transition Pal World to free to play. Because you may remember there are stories where it's like, oh man, Pal World really fucking dropped off and they had these high numbers. And what happened to the success story where they're not the top of Steam and like they really fell off? And then that's people who are brain poisoned because it's not a free-to-play game. People already paid for it. You don't have to have concurrence for a game to be a success if people paid money for it. Like, that's just like, again, this kind of like weird thing where it's just like, well, if it's not top of the charts, then it suddenly, what happened? And it's just like, people move on to other things. What do you want from them? Like, it doesn't, like, it's not a forever game. It's a fucking video game that people bought. But apparently, Pocket Pear has had at least thought about it. But they're not, the CEO, this is just translated conversation. He claimed the studio was debating whether or not to change the live service free-to-play model. But generally, that's a move to like that's a move you do in several years from now to get like a boost again. It's not a move you do when you're, to me anyway, that's not a move you do when you're a success. When you're a success story, you don't be like, all right, and now we're pivoting to free to play. This is like, that feels like a desperation move, not a like course of business. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the future of game dev. And everybody's gonna fucking do it. Every company's gonna start off as a paid live service game and then move to a free to play model, and then and then go there and like. I'm not sure that game has chops for live service anytime soon. Yeah, I mean, like, also, you have to change. You can't just say, "Oh, it's this game now," but you buy your Pokeballs or whatever. Like, you have to do a lot of work to transition to something like free to play. It can't just be we've ran the numbers and we think we'll get a certain amount of people that will try our game out and check this thing out, and so we have this plan. It's like, no, that's something you kind of need to be like. It kind of needs to be like, well, if this doesn't take off, we could do this, this, and this, and not this has been the plan since day one, like, or this has been the plan, not a oh fuck, what do we do? Pivot. Apparently that the interview where he was like, we're exploring that, was from months ago, and they have changed their minds since. But apparently that had been fairly recently translated, which made a lot of people ask questions. It settled on not going to free to play, and its statement said, Power World was never designed for that model in mind, and it would require too much work to adapt to this point. And they're like, it just isn't what our players want, which to me feels true. That feels like a true statement that people bought this game because they wanted an adult Pokemon, right? Or they wanted a Pokemon-like game on their PC or Xbox or whatever. And they're not necessarily looking for another free-to-play game. That's my impression. I don't know if I'm accurate or not, but that seems to be what they think anyway. It's not like an MMO dev having a plan for moving a free-to-play after launch with a sub. Yeah, it's very different than that. You're right, Lord Crashington. It's a very different thing. So, here's me saying yeah, good on you. They are still exploring the idea of a paid DLC, which I think makes a total sense. And in-game skins to help support the game, of course. They're thinking of that because there might be people who are like, I don't know, I got this game for free, and now I'm like, I put some money into it. Or you might have an influx of people who are like, I finished what I wanted, I got what I wanted of this game, but yeah, if they have DLC, I'll check that out. There's probably an audience out there that would be at least slightly interested in that, so they could do something like that. And I think it makes sense. But yeah, they're also like, hey, we're sorry this old article started going around English-speaking audiences and freaking some people out. And at least they clarified their position. I think that's smart of them. Okay. We'll end this segment of talking about gaming and such and gaming news with two things. One, really quick. I don't know when we're going to look at it. At some point, we will look at Mars First Logistics. The update, it will be next month at the earliest. Mars First Logistics put out an update that I'm not particularly psyched about. It seems like maybe I'm wrong because the comments of the post were all very positive. Basically, they're adding look. If you missed me playing Mars First Logistics on any of the streams, it's a puzzle solving game. You are on Mars, like a physics-based puzzle solver. You are on Mars, and you have jobs where you transport objects from one location to another on Mars. And you build vehicles in order to transport those goods. And it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy that game. It was fun problem solving. So it's the three-part problem. How do I pick up this object? How do I move this object? How do I deliver this object? Because they had a twist where sometimes when you get to the drop-off site, it's at the top of a ramp, or you have to use the grappling hook to raise the object, or use an elevator to raise it, or it's at the top of a tower that's very hard to drive up. I assume they have a Discord where there's a bunch of people that wanted this. Yeah, maybe that's the case, Lord Crashington said. I will say I added my own comment on the Steam thing that this is not a job or thing that I'm particularly interested in, because this update is trains, like not rail car, like monorail track. You can add from one location to another, and then also, I guess, electricity and water sources. And there might be moving in a direction where you need to build, like, part of your jobs are transport this stuff via rail, and you have to build the line from one location to another and build it up. They're also changing transmitters. Used to be just placed and you had to drive to them, radio transmitters, and now they're going to be implementing a thing where you have to build them, which seems nonsense. Yes, monorail. You can do the monorail joke. Now, for myself personally, I don't want a city builder. I don't want a Mars builder. I want a puzzle. I want a building machines puzzle game. I already paid for it, right? But I liked cruising around in vehicles and going from transmitter to transmitter and discovering that there. I thought that was neat. I don't mind the idea of building my own in the future, but the idea that I'm like building all of these things, and they're like, people were speculating, well, maybe this is like going to be their first step to having to build all the stations and build out the stations. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to build weird little vehicles, call them my little guy, build weird little guys that are vehicles. And I want to strap a rocket to tiny wheels and one piece of connection and blast that thing and put a radio thing on it so that I can have the music anytime I want to have the music, and go and do my best to like find a new area. I'm not psyched about building rail, you know? I like driving around Mars in chill mode and bumping into shit. Yeah. When they added weather, because they're adding clouds now, and they added like storms before, and I was like, that's fine. The grappling hook I think is really fun. Like, they've made additions to the game that I think are really neat, but I'm like, I'm not super psyched about trains. And so I don't do this. I left a comment saying I'm not really into that. I have no idea if anyone has replied to my comment, because I have not looked. Eventually I will look and see if anyone agrees with me. Maybe they don't. Maybe no one agrees with me. And everyone's just like, no, we want that. We want this to be a whole like sim on Mars. I don't know. If they ever take back the thing where you need rocket fuel, I'm probably done. They made it so that I can change it and not need to refuel with my rockets, and that, which is great. Negative Nelly Pat Bear. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Lord Crashing said, if there was a mode, like a world builder mode, I think that's a positive solution. But making it part of the main game, I'm just not super into the idea. I don't know. But who knows? I don't even have it installed right now. I will install it. I just haven't played it in a while. We will go back to it because I do want to check out this new stuff. Again, I don't know when that is. It'll probably be an option for the Patreon voting later. All right, we'll put that there. One last note. I wanted to end on a fun one. Final Fantasy 16 arrives on PC like at midnight Eastern, or I think maybe it's 9. Yeah, or maybe it's San Francisco time. Tomorrow. Let's just say tomorrow. Tomorrow you can play Final Fantasy 16 on the PC. It is no longer going to be a PS5 exclusive. And apparently, the producer, Yoshida, made a statement that he definitely shouldn't have. Talking to PC Gamer about the port, Yoshida was asked what mods the producer would like to see the community create. Because, and I'll say this here, there's always room for improvement, right? There's always fun things. And so they asked, like, hey, is there anything you'd like to see the community try to do? And he could have said, oh, well, we've got a creative community, and not said anything, because he didn't say anything he'd like. He said, If we said it'd be great if someone made XYZ, it might come across as a request. So we'll avoid mentioning any specifics here. And I think that's totally reasonable. And that probably should have been the end of it. That's probably should have been the end of his statement on this question. Which I think it's fair to be like, yeah, we don't want to seem like a request, so we're not going to try to do that. But he continued. The only thing I will say that we definitely don't want to say anything offensive or inappropriate. Nathan just resubbed 26 months on a 17-month streak. Thank you so much, Nathan. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Thank Nathan for the continued support. Appreciate that. We're now up to 25 subscribers out of 40. That's rad. Thank you very much, Nathan, for that. Okay, so I'm going to repeat this. So this is Yoshida, the producer, talking about it. The only thing I will say is that we definitely don't want to say anything offensive or inappropriate, so please don't make or install anything like that. So Yoshida doesn't want you to make inappropriate mods. And like, I mean, of course he doesn't. Of course Sony doesn't want that. But you don't say that. You don't say it. Because they're going to make nude mods. Like, of course they are. Like, come on. People are going to do that. Like, people are going to do all kinds of weird stuff. They're going to put Star Wars stuff in there. You can have lightsabers. There might be some people that are going to try to, like, edit some of the dialogue because they think the localization is inaccurate and is disrespecting Nippon. There's a bunch of stuff. But, like, people are gonna make inappropriate mods no matter what. But now they're gonna dedicate those inappropriate mods to Yoshida. I think the main character is nude for a bit, so that'll be a skin for the full game. Yes, you can just always have Clive nude 24/7 mod. I think his name is Clive. I think that's the main character. I don't remember. But yeah, they're like, hey, don't. I think it's funny. This was a silly one, right? To end this segment with. Yeah, I think like there will be mods that will be out very soon. People will figure out how to do that. They'll like change the music for the pause screen or whatever and do a lot of editing like that. And then they'll probably build out some other stuff eventually. But mods are coming. Please don't be horny this one time. Yeah, it's like, nah, that's not. As someone who has been looking for mods for a fairly successful game, we'll say, TMNT Shredder's Revenge, because I plan to eventually stream that game with mods because I got it for free. It was actually a Prime game. It was available through Epic Game Store free because of Amazon Prime. It was like the Twitch Prime deal. I got that game and I looked for mods, and guess what? A lot of those mods involve April O'Neil, and we'll leave it at that. But a lot of those mods are April related. There's a bunch of stuff that isn't, but there's quite a few that are. How dare you ask me not to be horny one time, says the internet. Yes, the internet furious. Let's see if there's any wrestling news that I wanted to say. Pardon me. I mean, I already said the most important thing, which is it looks like Yuka Sakazaki is going to challenge Mariah May for the title, and that's great because I love Yuka Sakazaki. So that's like big. This Sunday, Saturday/Sunday, really Sunday wherever, we got Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. Their big Wrestle Princess is happening. Wrestle Princess 5, I want to say. Ryo Mizunami in the main event. She's not going to win the big belt. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to put the title on Ryu, but if they put the title on her and then she announced that she is going full time with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, like, I would be fucking stoked about that shit. I don't think that's happening. I think she's going to be a really good challenge for Miyu. There's Miyu and Mew. They're different names. One is M-I-U, one is M-I-Y-U, and they're different. Lord Crashing wants to be the dance button, and I will. I'll hit the dance button. It's the September music. Here we go. We haven't heard a lot of it, but here it is. Yeah. This is going to be the best summer of our lives. I think I already made this joke, but whatever. Oh, yeah. It's time for some guy to rap and then disappear from the music video. And then, yeah, for the summer, we're going to live forever. Thank you for using your channel points for the dance button. But yeah, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling this Sunday. Psyched about it. Very excited to see. My big question mark is, are they going to have is Daisy Monkey going to retain their women's tag title, the Princess of Princess Tag Championships? Because those are my girls. Suzume, Arasu, they've been around for a while. It is wild to think that girls who were born the year I graduated from high school are professional wrestlers who have been doing it for a while. Part of that is that I am old. Part of that is that they are, so it was the year I graduated. Yes, it was the year I graduated from high school. But part of that is because in Japan, a lot of wrestlers start very young. But also I'm old. But they're the tag champions, Daisy Monkey, Suzume, Arso, and they are facing off against 1 to 1 million, which is Miyu Yamashita, the ace of Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, and Maki Ito, the cutest in the world. And there certainly exists a possibility that they might put the belts on 1 to 1 million. Both Miyu and Maki travel a lot, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't put the belts on them to have them defend those belts other places. My hope is we're keeping it on the younger generation. But I don't know. I'm a little nervous. They might hot shot the belts over. Don't like that, because those are my girls, as I said. So as much as I would like Rakupan to win the belt someday, Palm Harajuku and Raku, that's unlikely because they're comedy wrestlers, so they probably aren't going to win the tag belts. But that's my real tag team. The other tag team are the team I like. It's going to be good. There's an indie wrestler who her gimmick is that she's a real plain Jane girl. She's not wild. She's tagging with someone from Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling whose gimmick is that she is kind of just a boring real person. She's like in a world full of weird characters, she's just normal. And I think that's very funny that they're putting the two wrestlers that kind of look alike together on a tag team. That's happening at that show. I'm very excited to see how that works out. But yeah, I think there's good stuff coming. All right, I'm going to do this one piece here, put this on there. We are going to take a pause for the cause. This is my opportunity to talk to you about ways that you can support what I do here. This is my ad reads. This is where I would do my ad reads if I was sponsored by anyone or anything. But because I'm not, all I can do is talk to you about ways that you can support what I do here. Everything I'm about to tell you is optional. You don't have to do any of these things. But if you'd like to, that'd be rad. I would appreciate it. If you are currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 Blue Emote in chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. And so if you are a subscriber, you can put that stuff in there. You can be like Nathan and subscribe. That would be great. I would really appreciate it. Also, if you want to gift a sub to somebody in the community, that would be great. You could do that. Or bits and coins, always appreciated. Speaking of bits, the bits. It's September. And if you are new here and want to become a subscriber for the first time, you could save money, 25% off a sub. That's awesome. And then if you do 300 or more bits, Twitch kicks in extra bits. I make more money. They chip in on it. You can see right here, until the end of the month, there are new recurring sub discount and then bonus bits up until the 17th. So that is tomorrow. You can make, so ending actually 3 a.m. my time. That bit thing will end, so I won't mention the bits anymore. And then starting on the 26th until the 1st, for every 5 gifted subs total, I think it's total. I gotta make this image way bigger and look at that, but I'll do that later. I have till the 26th to find out if you donate gift 5 or if it's cumulatively 5 within the community or if it's individual 5. I'll find that out by the 26th because I don't know yet. Anyway, subscribing, gifting a sub, bits and coins, all that. We don't have anybody that gift sub leaderboard. No one has gifted a sub this month. You don't have to, of course. As I said, all this is optional. But if you did want to gift a sub, I wouldn't say, oh God, no, who gifted a sub? Don't ever do that. I wouldn't say that. I would never say that. Now, if you want to support me financially on a monthly basis and you're not interested in going through Twitch, which I understand, I get it. There's another option, which is Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. There's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon. Yesterday, which was the 15th, I put up my schedule for the rest of the month. My Patreon supporters got that early. And I even said it to people that, like when you get rid of a membership, you can just stay on for free messages. I don't do that too often, but I did that for those folks. And I was like, well, they used to support me on Patreon. I'll at least give them that schedule. And they got that before other people saw it, which is nice. Different rewards for different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon. And this coming weekend, I will do my monthly Q&A. I'll do my September Q&A for those folks, which is the only exclusive content that I make. If you want to support me on YouTube, obviously subscribing on YouTube is free. So you can go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear, and subscribe there if you wanted to. Sorry, I have an itch that I am scratching. I did it. Hooray. Over youtube.com/PatBear, you can subscribe for free. There's also a membership. And for just $2 a month, you can become a member on my YouTube. And one of the cool things about that is that you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So tomorrow, you will receive, if you join that, you would receive a link to my Wednesday video, my weekly Wednesday video. You get to see that early. That's kind of fun. Those are monthly ways to support me financially. Again, optional. You don't have to do that. If you can't swing the monthly or you just don't want to swing it, but you feel like tipping me, you're like, oh, Pat, that's fun. Let me help you get the next Lego set or model kit that you're looking for. Well, you can always go to ko-fi.com/PatBear or paypal.me/itspatbear and leave a tip. Those are my tip jars. Everything I make through direct donations through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And from that fund, I take out money and buy model kits and Lego sets and stuff to build. The set I'm currently working on right now, as we moved into the off-roader, I bought that with past funds. And I will buy more with future funds. So more kits and all of that. I have a backlog of stuff that I'd be happy to build. I mean, I buy stuff because I'm interested in building it, or I think you might be interested in. Generally both, or at the very least me. But maybe you have an idea of something you'd like to see me build, and you don't want it to be for my backlog. Well, you could buy something from my Amazon wish list. I got an Amazon wish list, and anything purchased in there will come to me in the mail. I will build it on stream, and then it'll jump the queue. It'll be the next thing that I build. I'll get a dedicated YouTube video about it called my mailbag series. I've got Lego sets and model kits. I just added I have never built on stream anyway, because I have in my real life. I've never built on stream here a Lego Technic. And so I added a Lego Technic. It is a 2-in-1. So it's the excavator and excavator digger. And it is a 2-in-1. And so there is there's like a dump truck and an excavator on there. Which looks very cool. And I've never built, like I said, I never built a Technic on stream. So I put that on the list. And I recently also added something I didn't know existed. There's a knockoff Lego set. It's by Tweendar. Tweendar made the A-Team van. They made a GMC Vandura playset that's on my wish list now. It is knockoff Lego. I bet it's terrible to put together. One of the reasons I want to build it is, one, because it's the A-Team van, and that's cool. And two, is because it comes with weapons, and I want to find out if those weapons will fit in a minifig's hands. I bet they will, but it comes with guns. So, like, we've built lightsabers, and we've had, like, you know, out bounty hunters with guns and stuff, or crossbows or whatever, but these are like rifles, and that's wild that someone said we should include rifles in our A-Team van. So that's a knockoff Lego set on my wish list. I would love to build. Someday I'll probably just buy that myself, but if you want to buy that and not have me decide I'm going to do it later, that's on my wish list. We've had mixed success with knockoff Lego. I don't know. I thought that would be fun to build. I always like to have a couple interesting things on the wish list, not just cool looking model kits. My alternative to Amazon wish list wise is a Throne wish list. I recently added more things to that list. You can find some stuff in there that I don't have on my Amazon list. If you want to help me out financially but not go through Amazon, which I get. And then USA Gundam Store is the most convoluted way to support me financially. You go to USA Gundam Store, you buy a gift card there. They send you an email with the gift card code. Then you can send me a whisper on Twitch or a DM on Twitter or a DM on Blue Sky or Mastodon with that gift card code. And I will use that gift card code to buy a model kit from USA Gundam Store. And you can make a suggestion like, oh, you should buy this thing or whatever. It'd be fun. It'd be fun if you wanted to do that. Do you have to do that? No. Do you have to do any of those things I just mentioned? No. If you wanted to, that would be great. I like when number go up. So if you want to subscribe or gift a sub, number would go up. I like that. These numbers are at 25 out of 40. If they're 26, that's better than 25. It was 24 when we started the stream, and now we're at 25. That's great. If you want to support me and not spend any money, you should know that I have a Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. People post links of things they thought I'd be interested in. It's a nice little place. You're welcome to hang out there if you want a little extra home on the internet. Couple video links for you to check out. Please, please, please watch this episode, the new episode, posted this afternoon, of Pat Baer's Anime Club. This episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club is me talking about the next big trend in anime, which is banished. The subgenre of banished or kicked. And you might be thinking, Pat, I feel like you talked about that in the Pat Baer's Anime Club. And you're right. About a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, I made a video declaring that. And a year later, I'm here to say it hasn't happened yet, but I do think it will I still think it will be the next big thing. And so we'll find out in a year if there are more coming. We've had a few this year. We have a few more. So I talk about what it means, what I'm talking about when I talk about the subgenre, examples of it, and I talk about a few anime, some of which I talked about in the previous video, some of which I'm like, oh, actually, Rising of the Shield Hero is, of course, a banished. He is, the hero is accused of a crime he didn't commit and kicked out and isolated, and he has to struggle. And it's like, that's definitely a banished. It's an example of a banished isekai. And I was like, oh, shit. I should have mentioned that the last time I did this video. So I talk about a few examples. And then, yeah, check out that video, please, because I was like, oh, I should do a video about banished. And I was like, oh, wait, I actually did one of those. Okay, well, I'll do an update. I've done sequels. So I don't think I've ever done an update before. So I was happy about that one. I thought it turned out good. And then, speaking of isekai, but not a banished. This is not a banished. Excuse me. Let's talk about Kuma Baer. This week's Kuma Baer recommendation, which is my weekly anime recommendation series. I talked about the lovely anime, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. 3 seasons, 2 or 3 movies, several OAVs, and of course, a side series. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is a postmodern isekai, as well as being a regular isekai, and also a slice of life isekai. It is many things, and is very fun, and Rimuru is a nice slime. So you should watch my 1-minute video talking about how cool that show is. And I'll have a new one up on Wednesday, and then my $2 YouTube members and my $5 and $10 patrons will be able to watch that video tomorrow. Now, I have 2 anime to talk about here. Episodes 11 of both of them. A long conversation to have about one show, a short conversation to have about another. Before I can get into that, I do need to drink some water. I am in need of some water. And we have to dramatically transition back to the overhead camera, which we will do here in just a moment. And we'll do that right now. All right. Let's talk, while I am building this Lego set and doing my thing, let me get this page going here. We can talk about episodes 11 of My Dear Friend Nokotan and Dahlia in Bloom. That's right, we're getting towards the end of our series here. Episode 11 of My Dear Friend Nokotan is weird even for this show. This show about a girl with deer antlers who may be a deer, and the most popular girl in school, the student council president, who used to be a ruffian and isn't a ruffian anymore. Okay, so Koshi, we're in a classroom here. Koshi's looking outside the window and then notices that Nokotan is sleeping. And instead of the comedic, no mouth noises or even bubbles, Nokotan's antlers are making bubbles, and no one thinks that's weird. And so then Koshi's just annoyed by it. So Koshi tries to wake her up, and the antlers stop her from doing so because the antlers don't want Nokotan to wake up. And then a bunch of fucking birds come in, and the birds all land on the antlers. And again, no one is like, hey, that's fucking weird as hell. What's going on here? Nobody says anything. Strange. But eventually, the announcer's just like, that's just Nokotan. It's like that. Yeah, that's what happens here. It's just like a My Dear Friend Nokotan thing. Then Nokotan wakes up and she's like, oh, Koshi, you have a tag on your shirt. And everyone fucking freaks out about it for no reason. And then we cut to another scene later the day, I guess. And there's a hunter. A man walks into the school. And he is wearing traditional garb. He is not. He is dressed like a. Okay, so I only know this because of anime. All right, anime and manga has let me know that there are men who still carry the traditions of the northern area of Japan that hunt in the wintertime. Matagi. Matagi. Matagi hunters is a long, rich traditional history because, you would run out of food because in the winter, animals would hibernate. Or they would just disappear, or they would burrow. And so hunters would wear traditional outfits, and they would enter the snow to catch and hunt animals. Anyway, this guy, Kumatori, shows up, and Nokotan immediately, without seeing him, is like, oh, something's fucked up. Oh, no. And later, I should also say that this dude has a gun. He's got a rifle. He's a hunter. He's a modern day hunter. Even if he's wearing traditional garb, he's still got a rifle. He walks into a school with a rifle, and he's clearly looking for Nokotan. And Nokotan says, I'm hiding because today is Day of the Deer. No explanation of what that means. It's Day of the Deer. It could be open season on deer. We don't know. But it's Day of the Deer. And Koshi, who is the person that is reacting to a lot of the weirdness all the time. I will say this. A lot of shit gets taken very lightly in the show. Koshi immediately tries to report the man with the gun in the school. And it's like, great. Yes. Please talk about this hunter. Please say what's going on. Okay, so Kumatori is trying to find Nokotan. She's hiding in different places. She's setting traps. Two girls who are some of the student council people are confused about what's going on, and they don't want to help this guy out because they're more confused than anything else. There are two Giru they're in the background. This is kind of fun. I'll say this was kind of neat. Two of these like girls that they're wearing the bleached blonde hair, and they wear makeup, a lot of makeup to look like they have a tan. The Giru. Gals, they're often translated as. There have been Giru in the background at like the sports day and a bunch of other things, and they stand out because they're Giru, and we've never heard them. They're immediately distracting this dude to help Nokotan. We have never seen these girls interact with Nokotan before, but they are just immediately like, that guy's a hunter. There's a girl in our school that has antlers. We got to help the girl with antlers. And it was like a cool little moment that kind of peeks into the fact that there are elements to this show that we don't see. Like, it's not just when the lights come on, we're watching. There's other things happening in this universe. And I thought that was really fucking cool in a very weird show. He sets up some cameras. That doesn't work. Eventually, he finds Nokotan on the roof. And Koshi joins the two of them, and there's a standoff. He's got his rifle ready. Nokotan makes like weapons out of her antlers that are definitely not lightsabers, but probably are lightsabers. And it looks like we're going to have this big, brutal fight. There have been references previously to Nokotan being a martial artist, which we haven't really seen. And so I was like, are they going to have a fucking fight scene right now? They did not have a fight scene. Kumatori's wife calls and is like, hey, I need you to come home now. Also get radishes on the way. And so he leaves, and Nokotan is fucking psyched. And Nokotan is just like, at the next Day of the Deer, I'm going to defeat that guy. We don't have to worry about that. We probably don't have to worry about that because as he's leaving the building, two police officers show up to detain him because he brought a rifle. He's walking around with a rifle, and so he gets detained. And that's the A story. And it was just like, I kind of wanted to see the cool fight, but I do also love the idea of just being like, oh yeah, my wife called, I gotta go. And then also the nonsense of being picked up, because like, yeah, you can't do that. I don't care if this is a weird show that also involves a girl who is maybe a full deer or part deer. Can't just bring a rifle to a Japanese school and think that's going to be okay. All right. Then we get our secondary story. Koshi and Nokotan are in the Deer Club, and Nokotan is this is a shorter little story. Nokotan is wearing a tracksuit because apparently she put a bunch of holes in her school uniform, and Koshi convinces Nokotan, let's leave, let's go buy you a new tracksuit because even this suit is getting ripped up. And we find out that this is new information that we are presented with. Nokotan is apparently very scared of plastic bottles. I don't know why, but doesn't like plastic bottles. Sees some plastic bottles on the road, freaks out. There's a nice little scene with Kochi trying to help her. And they hold hands to kind of jog, take her so she doesn't see the bottles. And they end up back where they started. And Koshi sews a few patches onto the tracksuit to try to make it presentable. And Nokotan thanks her, and then Nokotan accidentally rips the tracksuit again. The next day on the way to school, Koshi kind of just assesses how her life is going and basically gives the death flag idea of, you know what? I hope everything stays this way. This is really good. Things are good, and I hope things are always like this. She gets to school and she cannot find Nokotan, so she asks Bashime and Anko, "Hey, where's Nokotan?" And Bashime is like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and everyone is acting like they don't know who or what Nokotan is, and that's our episode 11 cliffhanger. Episode 12, maybe we'll fucking find out what's going on here. Unexpected twist. Has Koshi always, in her attempts to fit in and present herself as someone she's not, has she been dreaming Nokotan up? Is this a prank that everyone is doing to her? Is Nokotan real but erased everyone's memory except for Koshi? I don't know. Is the deer god involved? Because Nokotan is or isn't the deer princess? I don't know. Or the shaman? I don't know. These are real questions for this very weird show. I am excited to find out the answers to those questions. On episode 12, tune in next Monday for this exciting conclusion of my dear friend Nokotan. Now let's go to episode 11 of Dahlia and Bloom, which is not weird, which is a slow burn romance series that has that is an isekai, but is only using the isekai for table setting, and it's mostly just about the slow burn romance. All right, so at the last episode, we knew that. Jam just subscribed with Prime, so we'll pause that. Thank you so much, Jam. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Thank Jam for supporting 79 months, Jam. That's so many goddamn months. I appreciate you so much for that. That's a whole lot of months. And now we're at 26 subscribers. The goal is to get to 40. I shut up at 40. We're 26 subscribers, and I appreciate you. Your support, Jam. Means a lot. Okay, so at the end of the last episode, Dahlia was getting invited to a gathering at the palace because the work she has done with some of her inventions have helped Wolfred, her friend. They're just friends. Has helped Wolfred out a lot with the stuff he's working on, and basically like coming up with self-drying socks and water-resistant clothing has been a boom for these hunters, these knights who go out and hunt beasts and stuff. So she gets invited. She meets the heads of the suppression squad, and she gives them other ways of getting rid of foot fungus and to help prevent foot fungus from spreading, because that is a major concern that all the knights are psyched about. And then Wolfred, trying to be funny, says something that really pisses Dahlia off, because he makes a suggestion that she got really good at fighting foot fungus because she must have had foot fungus herself in the past, which is like, come on, dude. What the fuck? What are we doing here, dude? We know you don't know that you are in love with her, but like, come on, my guy. What are we doing here? So she leaves. She's pissed off, and then his supervisors are fucking pissed. One, because they want a positive relationship with Dahlia because she is creating things that are genuinely helping them. And two, they are very much aware that he is fucking up right here, that he is blowing it, and they like him a lot. And so they would like him to fucking figure this shit out. And they're like, you have to apologize. You need to get her something that she'll like. Damn it. And when he leaves, they're just like, ugh, what a dumbass. You know, like, young love, you know, that kind of thing of like, oh, Jesus, man. So he realizes, I kind of don't know what she would like. But he shows up with flowers and sweets, which are classic. And she does decide that she's going to forgive him eventually. And so then he finds out specifically when he fucks up in the future, I should say. My notes say when he fucks up in the future, that she likes cheesecake. That is her preferred dessert. And she likes flowers with a strong smell or scent. So now he knows for when he fucks up again, what he can do to make good. So over dinner, he tells her of a tradition among the soldiers where you get drunk and you admit secrets, and then the rule is if you admit it while drunk in the party, it's never brought up again. The idea is it's to build camaraderie among the soldiers, that you have shared something personal and secretive, but everyone, like no one's going to break the code, which is a fun little tradition and makes sense for this, like for the knighthood. They're drinking anyway. So she's like, yeah, let's play. And she gets fucking real. She gets real and deep with him and says, we learn about her mother. At this point, we have never heard anything about Dahlia's mom. She was raised by her dad. We find out that she abandoned Carlo, the father, and by extension, Dahlia, after Dahlia was born, and divorced him and then married another man. But she died 10 years after that. So before Carlo died, she obviously did not have a relationship with him because she stayed with Carlo, which is a lot and deep. And so he responds in kind. We kind of knew some of this. His mother, Vanessa, was his father's third wife, which we didn't know. But his father didn't show any interest in him, which we kind of knew because he was born without any magic. And like one of the things is his mother has very powerful magic. She has ice magic. And so possibly one of the reasons why he would want to have a child with her would be to have an offspring with high magic powers, which he does not have. So our guy doesn't have that. And one of the reasons why he wants a magic sword is to one day surpass his mother. And then Dahlia, because it's just two of them, she's like, well, I guess I'll share a little bit more. And she says that she has trouble asking for help, and that she has a reoccurring nightmare that she will die alone at her desk, which is a fucking lot. That's heavy shit. It's heavy conversation. Again, these are two people that are friends that are moving towards romance, but they are both unaware that they are moving towards romance. So this is a lot for the two of them to be in this situation. to revealing this stuff. Alcohol is a powerful motivator. Wilfred says, hey, the next time you have a nightmare, I'll save you. I'll be in the dream and I'll save you. Which she laughs at because, like, the idea of saving someone inside their own dream is impossible. So she's like, oh, that's funny. We got one more episode left of this show. I don't know, like, I don't expect them to kiss by the end of it. I don't know where exactly it's going because this is beyond where I was in the manga. It's based on the light novel. This is beyond where I've been in the manga, so I kind of don't know where this is going. I have some idea, but I don't have full idea of where we're at with this particular story. But I am excited to find out where we're going because I really like it. I've really enjoyed watching this anime. And I am, as I said, excited to see more. I believe I am building the engine right now, or what like represents the engine. I believe that's what we're doing here, because this will be, the wheels there, and then this is the tailgate, working tailgate, and I guess you would put the bike wheels, like, I think, not much of a trunk on this, but I think this is what you're supposed to do if you want to have the bike on the back. But we're now done with bag 2. So we're going to open up bag 3 here, and I'm going to take these extra parts and move them aside. We're obviously not going to finish this on stream tonight. We will definitely finish this on Thursday. You got to put the junk in the trunk. Yes. Well, they already got, like, what appears, this to me is supposed to be a cooler, right? Like, it's blue and it's got a gray top. So I think this is supposed to be a cooler in the back. So we already have a little junk back there. But yeah, we've only done 2 stickers and there are 3 more stickers left. Not a lot of stickers on this kit. So we're going to continue. We're going to null bag 3. And while I prepare bag 3, cooler, a toolbox. Yeah, probably. While I prepare bag 3, now is the part of the stream where I want to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you up to? What are you into? Do you have any games going on? What's going on? Reading any books? Like, let me know. I always like to hear from chat, and this is your opportunity to tell me what you're up to and into, the sharing portion of the stream here. Obviously, you can always tell me stuff that's going on at any time during stream, but I don't know. It's nice in the beginning to hear from you. I will tell you that what's in here? Oh, there's something special in here. Well, opening this up. What have I been up to? Am I doing anything? Yesterday, I took it real goddamn easy. I'll tell you that. I'm working on some presentation stuff for a job, some gig work here, for hire stuff. Ooh, okay. This must be the suspension, or these rubber bands. So we got some rubber bands there. We'll put those over to the side, so it's out of the way. That's fun. And then this can get recycled. So I didn't do a whole lot yesterday. I watched some wrestling in the evening. During the day, I played a lot of Hearthstone. I'm prepping because tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm doing a Hearthstone stream, and I wanted to have a bunch of new decks to try out. I have a standard deck, and then I have a bunch of wild decks, including one that I named Terrible, because it is terrible. Because even when it's one of those decks, I have those scam decks where, like, they are just nonsense things. They do one specific thing and you win. This deck, even when it does what it's supposed to do, you don't always win, which is fun. That's a fun bit of business. That's a fun twist for your friend Pat, that sometimes you do the thing that the deck is supposed to do and you still don't win. So I got that going for me. I've been enjoying that, though. Trying to get some Hearthstone stuff together for tomorrow. I was supposed to do a one-off in my D&D and my collective, the role-playing collective that I'm a part of. We had a group ready to go, and there were last-minute cancellations, and so we were trying to scrounge up some people, and then one of the people that we that was remaining was like, actually, I think I'm just going to go. And so we canceled it, which was really disappointing. And then like a couple hours later, a friend of mine was like, hey, let's watch this GCW wrestling show together. And we'll chat. We'll be in the Discord and we'll just chat. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. And just as I went to do that, some people came out of the woodwork being like, hey, is this group still trying to get enough players for some what we're going to do? Fiasco. I was like, oh, can we still get a Fiasco game together? And I was like, no, sorry. I wasn't rude. I wouldn't say no, but I was like, really? But I had made other plans and I enjoyed that. It was fun watching wrestling. I'll say this. GCW, they stream all their shows. You just get Fight or Triller Plus and you get all of them. It is cool as hell that they live stream all of their shows. I think that is really impressive. My biggest fucking issue with them is that they don't really know how to light a venue. They were in a music venue, right? Music venues traditionally don't light the general audience area, which is where you'd put a ring, right? The stage was not big enough to put a ring there. It's weird to do that. So there were stage lights and they had to like turn some of the stage lights around to point at the ring. Also, it started at 5 p.m. on the East Coast. So it was still daylight out and they had the I don't know if that venue ever covered their windows during the day, but they certainly didn't for this. And so the lighting changed as the show went on. As it got darker outside, suddenly sunlight wasn't pouring in the big windows, and the lighting was awful. And it was just like, okay, if you are not going to find out, if you are not going to ask if that's not part of your contract with a venue that they do proper lighting for you and light the ring where you're going to set it up, then you need to start traveling with lights. Like you have to start traveling with them and integrate in people's systems or have your own like system. Like if you are going to live stream every fucking show, you got to up your goddamn game because it's so weird to watch a thing and just be like, well, in about 45 minutes, this is going to look way worse than it looks right now. Like there would be people who would like move onto the stage, which was the entrance to the ring, and you could suddenly see them because it was well lit, because of course it was. And I'm going to say this, kind of annoying, kind of annoyed. Try to be positive about stuff. Happy they're pushing it. It's very interesting to see people, like to see a group do this. And I want to be supportive of GCW, but God damn it. Come on. And that was my big takeaway on Sunday, was just being like, fucking come on, dudes. Now I'm going to read what y'all have been writing to see what's going on with all y'all. Oops. I just accidentally hit a piece that flew away. It's a light, I believe. Yes, it says light on it. It's got a little face on it. So I got to put that over there. Let me see what y'all have been writing. I got Arkansas DLC, says Lord Crashington, for American Truck Sim, and as we drive towards the Midwestern U.S. Nice. Enjoy Arkansas. Said no one ever. But yeah, I hope you have a good time with it. Ghost Valve says, almost done with Caravan Sandwich. Trying to get ready for the next pre-release this weekend. Geez, already. Yes, I watched a little bit of the pre-release. I am not a horror game fan, but I think those cards look pretty fucking rad. They look spooky in a way that I think is neat. And again, not my jam, the horror stuff, but that looks like a pretty cool set. But yeah, get ready for it. That's the world you live in, Ghost Valve. Last person says, I played an obscene amount of Satisfactory. I have Paramount Plus now and ended up watching Halo Season 2, which is a thing that happened. Yeah, that was my understanding. I have not seen a single episode of the Halo series, the TV series, Halo 1 or 2, but it certainly exists. Still, you can still exist. They somehow only spent 20 minutes actually on a Halo. That makes total sense to me. I also watched the Knuckles show, and I know it's for kids, but it was real dumb. Was surprised only 6 episodes. Yeah, it was like a mini thing, and I think the idea was that they would do more if there was like a high demand for it, because it was still kind of a pricey show to make. I need these dark blue pieces here. But yeah, I haven't seen it. I do want to see it at some point, because I have friends who are in it. So I would like to see them at some point. Nathan Explosion says, this past weekend, I saw Dan The First Encounter in theaters. It's the first 3 episodes of the show, plus cast and crew interviews, and it was amazing. Hell yeah. I have not seen a single second of Dan myself. I am somewhat interested in Dan. I would like to see that. A Ghost Valve, jealous of that. Aristofan says, I got the platinum on Astrobot yesterday. Hell yeah. That's awesome, Aristofan. I'm glad you enjoyed Astrobot. And you got yourself some Chivos there. That felt gross saying, because I haven't said that in a long time. You got some trophies. That's awesome. The final challenge took me an hour. Challenge level took me an hour. That's a lot of time. God damn. But I had lots of fun. The Lord Crashton says, Arkansas is a drive-through is drive-through country for me. Totally understand. Yeah, it's Arkansas. And then Lashbrook says about in reference to the Knuckles show. Oh, I'm sure your main character is CG, and you're paying for Idris Elba, real pricey. Yeah, one could imagine that Idris Elba, when negotiating to be Knuckles, part of his contract might have included the TV show. Or it might have been a separate negotiation, or part of the contract would be, and if we do TV or a cartoon or something, you can't say no. You can't flat out say you don't want to do it, because they don't want to do a sound alike. Some people are very good at sound alikes, and some kids are just like, that's not Panda. Like Kung Fu Panda the video game Kung Fu Panda video games are a sound alike. They did not pay for Jack Black. They did not get Jack Black for the video games. But other ones do pay out there, and there are some kids that can tell. They're like, that's not the voice. That's not right. Something's wrong. If they do a Mario mini thing, like a direct to streaming thing, Super Mario Brothers, there might be some people that are like, that's not Bowser though. What's happening? Because maybe they won't be able to get him. Vash says, I ordered an analog pocket yesterday. Been wanting one for a while. They have limited colored ones that dropped, and I got a gold one like the Game Boy Pocket I had. Heck yeah. I do remember that gold. I didn't own it myself, but I do remember that golden Game Boy Pocket. That looked really fucking good. Hell yeah! I hope you love the analog pocket. But that's awesome. I was aware that they were doing that colored run, and that's cool. That's a fun bit of business. So I hope you enjoy that. So again, this Tuesday is Hearthstone. Next Tuesday will be the end of let's see. By next Tuesday, we will have finished My Dear Friend Nokotan and Dahlia and Bloom. Episodes 12 will be next week. Dungeon People, I want to say ends this week. Let me look up the Dungeon People. I want to say the last episode was episode 11. I want to say that. Maybe that was episode 12. I don't remember. I think that was episode 10. So I think Dungeon People might have another week. I Parry Everything is wrapping up. I know that. Let me just double check here. I Parry Everything, episode 12. Yes, okay. So episode 12 is coming out. That's going to wrap that series up. So we're almost done with most of our shows. Oshinoko has episode 11 this week because they took a week off. But Oshinoko is a 13 episode season. So there is going to be more of Oshinoko will have another one. So when I do next Tuesday, Pat Bear's Anime Club, the summer wrap-up / fall preview, I will not be able to fully talk about Oshinoko because I won't have finished it. There'll be a couple shows that won't have wrapped up, but most of them will have wrapped up by the time I do that. We'll have a thing where I am wrapping up shows and new shows won't have started. So I will do the thing where I talk about, there'll be a couple, but we'll do something. I think I'll try to check out a few shows that I skipped this season, which is what I usually do. And if I don't end up doing that, then I will do the thing where I just talk about a bunch of manga, because I have some manga to talk about. I always have a good amount that, and we haven't done Manga Monday. We will do a Manga Thursday this week, along with the episode Oshinoko. I'll talk about a manga that I've been watching. And then on Saturday, we'll wrap up I Parry Everything. And we won't wrap up Dungeon People, but we'll get close to wrapping up Dungeon People. I think, again, I don't remember. I think it was episode. Yeah, I think Dungeon People started a week later. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, episode 10 happened this weekend. So that means that we're on episode 11 out of 12. So we'll have another week of that, and another week, and another 2 weeks of Oshinoko. Oshinoko will kind of blend into the next season. I know that today or tomorrow, a show that I don't watch that. I mean, I don't remember everything that happened in the last season. I have watched it. Quintessential Quintuplets has like a TV special, which is the movie with some extra stuff in it. So I don't think that's going to get released. I don't think Crunchyroll's picking that up, but I, at the very least have some interest in that because I haven't seen the movie. I don't know if I ever will, because again, I like that show, but I don't like the show where there were 2 shows where there was a guy who had to become a tutor for a bunch of girls, and then it was a romantic comedy series about the girls in various different degrees of crushes on the guy. And We Never Learn only got 1 season, which I think was the better show. And Quintessential Quintuplets got 2 seasons, which I don't think is as good, which is a shame. Because I do think that We Never Learn was really fun. A really fun idea. In a weird thing where there was a teacher that was occasionally inappropriate, and that was not great. It's very anime, but was my least favorite part. I did like that there was a female character in that show that understood that she understood that girls had a crush on the guy. She didn't have a crush on him, but she did understand that she could tease him because it was fun. And I want to see more of that in our harem animes, where there is a character that is just like, I am not predisposed to like this guy, but also find this all very funny. And I think that's a fun addition. I'm kind of jealous of the different colors. I got the black one at launch. Oh, this is about the analog pocket / Brook. I mean, you got one. That's cool. And black is a classic color for a console, especially a portable one. And Aristofan says, very fun. I've enjoyed mine. So we got 3 people in chat, 2 of which already have an analog pocket, 1 of which is getting one soon. And that's neat. I hope you all enjoy your analog pockets. That's cool. All right, we got more building to do, and we will get to that on Thursday. But we're done with this so far. I'm gonna kind of try to put together this set a little bit here. We're gonna build a scene. So our progress here. We got our bikes. Let's see if I can get this bike to not fall over. Difficult. We'll just lean it. And we got our tent here. We got our scene there. Building our scene. Oh, Ghost Valve. I should also count since I have one also. There you go. 3 people that have an analog pocket, and 1 person who's getting an analog pocket. That's very fun. All right, so here's our set. Here's our little scene. More building will happen. Lord Crashington, I also have an analog pocket, says Lord Crashington. Okay, well, also, most of chat right now has an analog pocket, because that is 4 people and 1 who is getting one soon. And that is a wild thing, but fun. That's awesome. We will continue with this Lego set on Thursday. But remember, tomorrow's stream, 9 p.m. Eastern, is a Hearthstone stream. We are going to raid right now. So I hope you come for the Hearthstone stream, I should say. We are going to raid. That is how we end every stream. We're going to go find someone doing cool shit and go spend some time with them. I hope that you will come hang out here on the stream, because it'll be fun. Mary Kish is back to streaming. I assume Mary will not be streaming next week because TwitchCon is this weekend. So I imagine she will not be streaming on Monday, but she is next Monday. But she is streaming now, and we always raid Mary when we can because it's Merry Monday. So feel free to come along on this raid as we go hang out. Mary's community is awesome. You'll have a good time over there. Mary is currently playing Wild Bastards, and that's a fun name for a video game. So we'll go check out Wild Bastards with Mary Kish, who is not a bastard. Thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you come along on this raid. I hope you come back tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, to watch me lose a lot in Hearthstone, but win occasionally with silly decks that shouldn't win at all. And I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye.